10 reasons to watch UFC Fight Night 110. With a behemoth of a heavyweight headliner, the majority of the UFC's top heavyweight talent doesn't come all that close to hitting the maximum allowable weight limit for the division. For instance, champion Stipe Miocic checked in at 246 pounds for his latest title defense, which came against former champ Junior Dos Santos, who tipped the scales at 245. The headliners in Saturday's UFC Fight Night 110 main event, on the other hand, are the exception to that rule. Both Derek Lewis and Mark Hunt came in at the 265-pound limit. These are big dudes who do big dude damage when they step into the octagon. Combined, Lewis and Hunt have gone the distance 3 times in their UFC careers, so it's probably safe to assume only one of these two behemoths is going to be standing at the conclusion of this fight. In the co-main event, perennial underdog Kelly looks to extend his unlikely winning streak against Derek Brunson, who hopes to end a 2-fight skid. UFC Fight Night 110 takes place at Spark Arena in Auckland, New Zealand. The card airs on FS1 following early prelims on UFC Fight Pass. Here are 10 reasons to watch the event. Since losing to Sean Jordan in June 2015, Lewis has won 6 straight fights, which gives him the longest active winning streak in the UFC's heavyweight division. That streak, and the fact that 5 of those wins have come via knockout, have Lewis ranked number 7 in the USA Today Sports Junkie heavyweight rankings. At UFC Fight Night 110, he faces number 11 Hunt 12-11-1 7-5-1 UFC, who has put together a 2-1 record with 1 no contest during Lewis' 18-4 9-2 UFC winning streak. This is a fight that could put Lewis in line for a title shot. With the future of former champion Cain Velasquez still up in the air, the division needs a marketable opponent for Miocic's next title fight, and Lewis fits the bill. As for Hunt, despite his ongoing legal battles with the UFC company president Dana White, he remains a fan favorite, and a win in his home country would be huge for Hunt and the UFC's future in the New Zealand-Australia market. Kelly, the man seemingly held together with reinforced box tape, is in the midst of a 4-fight winning streak, which includes a split decision victory over former light heavyweight champion Rashad Evans. At UFC Fight Night 110, Kelly 13-1 6-1 UFC, an honorable mention in the middleweight rankings, tries to break into the top 15 when he faces No. 12 Brunson 16-5 7-3 UFC. Meanwhile, Brunson looks to avoid the first 3-fight skid of his career. Brunson needs to find a balance between the ultra-aggressive style that cost him an IPCO loss against Robert Whittaker and the more passive game plan he used while dropping a close decision to Anderson Silva. Dan Hooker did his best to keep his most recent opponent, Jason Knight, at distance, but Knight had none of that and pushed forward and left Hooker 13-7 3-3 UFC unable to mount any sustained defense. Hooker, who lost to Knight via decision, could have better luck when he moves up to lightweight to fight Ross Pearson 19-13 11-10 UFC, who likes to be the aggressor in his fights, albeit at a more controlled pace than Knight. The stakes are high for Pearson, and that could change the way he approaches the bout. He's won 4 in his last 5 fights, and could be fighting for his UFC spot against Hooker, who has alternated wins and losses since joining the UFC in 2014. Time Elliott washed out of the UFC in 2015, after going 2-4. Shortly after his release, he won the Titan FC flyweight title and defended it twice. Elliott then joined season 24 of The Ultimate Fighter, winning that competition.
Elliott then joined season 24 of The Ultimate Fighter, winning that competition to earn a shot at flyweight champion Demetrius Johnson. Elliott took Johnson 5 rounds, dropping a unanimous decision. He followed that loss with a fight of the night decision victory over Louis Smolka in April. Despite earning a $50,000 bonus, Elliott was disappointed with his performance. Now ranked number 15 in the division, Elliott 14-7-1 3-5 UFC steps in on short notice to face Binyan, an honorable mention in the rankings. Nyan 17-6 3-1 UFC was originally booked to face No. 2 Joseph Benavidez before an injury knocked the former title challenger from the event. Nyan is coming off a decision win over Gene Herrera. There was a lot to like about Alexander Volkanovski's UFC debut. He displayed good clinch work and strong takedowns, but where he stood out was his striking, especially on the ground. Volkanovski earned a second-round KO win over Yuji Kazai in November thanks to those strikes. It was his 6th straight stoppage and 11th consecutive victory. At UFC Fight Night 110, Volkanovski 14-1 1-0 gets to test himself against a fighter with a similar style and former deep lightweight champion Mijito Hirota 18-7-2 1-2-1 who is coming off a win over Cole Miller. Vink Pisho's last fight was so long ago. His last 2 opponents are no longer with the UFC. In his first fight since May 2014, Pisho faced Cesdamie in Brown at lightweight. Injuries inside and outside the cage have kept Pisho 9-1 2-1 on the shelf. but for his prolonged absence, he was on a 2-fight winning streak. Round 17-9 was 2-1 up, who did not debut with the UFC until March 2016, is 2-1 with the promotion, and most recently earned a split decision win over John Tuck. In 2013, John Moraga, then ranked in the top 5 in the flyweight division, fought champion Johnson, won by submission in the 5th round. Since then, Moraga has gone 3-4, losing his last 3 fights by decision. Currently ranked number 12, Moraga is likely more worried about getting back in the win column than he is about his rankings. Moraga's 16-6 was 5-5 F welcomes Ashkan Mokhtarian to the UFC. Mokhtarian 13-1 was 0-0 F enters the UFC with 12 finishes in his 13 victories. Luke Jumo's last 2 losses came back in 2013 to Li Jinglang and Jake Matthews, before they each made the jump to the UFC. Since those submission defeats, Jumo has run off 6 straight wins, most recently earning a go over former UFC fighter Vic Grujic. Jumo spent most of the first round of the Grujic matchup fighting off a rear naked choke. He ended the contest in the 2nd round, after a left to the back of Grujic ended the fight in a somewhat controversial co-stoppage. Jumo has his work cut out for him in his UFC debut, where he meets Dominic Steele. Jumo 12-3 mud, 0-0 F tends to fight flat-footed while throwing single strikes. Grujic also easily took him to the mat. This welterweight bout could allow Steele a 14-8 mud, 1-3 F to continue to work on his developing striking while going back to his wrestling base. If he finds trouble on the feet, Steele is on a 2-fight losing skid, most recently dropping a decision to Court McGee. Chan Mijian is the latest entrant in the Win the UFC Calls You Say Yes sweepstakes, agreeing to face STRAWWEIGHTJJ Aldrich in short notice. The 19-year-old Jian has very limited MUN experience against opponents you've heard of, with the exception being her recent win over 44-year-old Megumi Yabushita, whom she defeated in September. Against her overmatched competition, Jian 5-0 mud, 0-0 F has looked good, racking up 4 knockout victories, but does she have a chance to upset Aldrich 4-2 mud, 0-1 F? Sure, but the more likely outcome is that Jian will learn what she needs to work on to compete in the UFC. Aldrich enters the fight coming off a decision loss to Juliana Lima. If you were paying attention, you'd know that up until May 31st, only 10 fights were announced for UFC Fight Night 110. The number increased to 12 that day, when a main card bout between light heavyweight Shinky Vlad at 12-3 mud, 1-2 F Can Henrik Da Silva 12-2 mud, 2-2 F, and a lightweight prelim matchup Ok Dong Hyun Kim 14-8 mud, 1-2 F versus Thibault Clouty 11-3 mud, 0-3 F were added to the card, despite some late shuffling to get the card finalized and announced. UFC Fight Night 110 could have a major impact on the organization's future plans in Australia and New Zealand, where UFC executives are bullish on the market. If the crowd and the local fighters deliver at UFC Fight Night 110, expect the organization to return Oceania a little more often. For more on UFC Fight Night 110, check out the UFC More section of the site. MLB notes Rays outfielder Kevin Kiermaier to miss 2 months after breaking hip during a slide. Tampa Bay Rays center fielder Kevin Kiermaier is expected to miss at least 2 months after breaking his right hip during a slide into first base. The 2016 GOLD Glove winner left the Thursday night's game against the Chicago White after jamming the hip while trying to beat out an infield hit in the 5th inning. It's just a funky, awkward slide, and I'm paying for it now, Kiermaier, who is using crutches, said before Friday night's game against Oakland. Unfortunately, that's something I have to live with now. I expect a full recovery. This will probably be my last slide into first base for quite some time. Kiermaier underwent a CT scan Friday and was put on the 10-day disabled list. Has struggled this season defensively, committing 6 errors in 62 games. He had 2 errors in 105 games last season. Kiermaier signed a $53.5 million 6-year contract in March. He missed 48 games last season with a broken left hand. Tampa Bay went 14-34. While Kiermaier was out, Tampa Bay recalled WTFIELDERMALLEX Smith from AAA Durham to replace Kiermaier, etc. The Texas Rangers recalled infielder Jurickson Profar from Triple Round Rock and optioned Dario Alvarez there before Friday night's game against the Washington Nationals. Profar will start at third base with Adrian Beltre out of the lineup for the 2nd straight game. Beltre suffered an ankle injury Tuesday against the New York Mets. The slugger has played in just 7 games this season for Texas. Masahiro Tanaka's next scheduled start has been pushed back one day as the New York Yankees attempt to get their struggling ace back on track. Yankees manager Girardi says Tanaka will pitch Monday night at the Los Angeles Angels rather than Sunday at home against the least rival Baltimore. That gives the right-hander 5 days. Fest. Luis Cardinal scratched catcher Yadier Molina from the starting lineup Friday night, with lower back spasms. Eric Ferreira placed Molina against the Philadelphia Phillies. Ferreira was set to hit in the 8th spot. Molina hit .300, playing in 6 games on the recent 7-game trip, on which St. Louis did not win a game. He has started 51 of the 58 games this season. For the season, Molina is hitting .258 with 6 RBIs and 1 home run. Tony Watson's recent struggles have cost THEPITTSBURGHB Rates reliever his job as the team's closer. Manager Clint Hurdle said he is unplugging Watson from the role following a pair of blown saves in Baltimore earlier this week. Felipe Rivera and Juan Nicasio will share the closing duties for now.